Now, I want to go back to this shocking front page story today in the Herald Sun that I started the program with. Now, as I said, the Victorian government has quietly paid compensation to a female prisoner who was sexually assaulted by a transgender murderer who was transferred to a women's prison. Now, it comes as policy changes, apparently to tighten how and where offenders are placed and reignite that debate over safety in female jails. Former Victorian Homicide Squad Detective Charlie Bezzina joins me in the studio. Welcome, Charlie. I mean, this case is just outrageous. So we go back to the murder that this guy was convicted of, and he was sentenced to 20 years in jail. It was a race-based murder of a 19-year-old Sudanese kid. This bloke was raving about getting rid of black people in Melbourne. So this person gets 20 years and then suddenly ends up saying, oh, well, I'm not who I thought I was, I'm a woman, and he gets sent to a women's prison.
Correct.
How does that happen?
Well, I reckon there was some squeezer in bloody corrections who made the decision, the woke decision, and decided to do away with duty of care to the other prisoners, no accountability, impunity for them, and said, well, look at me, look at what I've done. But ultimately, it's not good enough. And then we pay the penalty as a community.
Now, I mentioned that there is senior bureaucrats, apparently, who are pushing back against this idea that you should not have, genetically born men in women's prisons. They believe that that should continue to happen.
Yeah, very much. And it's not, it's gender-based. How you're born is where you end up. And then ultimately, if they can put a pocket within a prison and have them separated, and why are we bowing down to these minority groups in relation to that for the entire safety of the prison population? It's ridiculous.
Oh, now, I've never been in jail. You've been there plenty of times. I presume that if you're a violent, unhinged murderer, spending time in a men's jail will be tougher than spending time in a women's prison. Would that be correct?
Very much, because you look at Dame Phyllis Frost there out and the minimum security where he was, ultimately a lot easier. So he played the system, and the system bowed down to him, and at the cost of this poor prisoner that was assaulted. Where's the accountability? Where's this government saying, well, it's our fault, even though they were told before that? You shouldn't be, and it goes across with sport, the whole situation, women's toilets, women's change rooms. Where's it going to end? And here we've ended up with an assault on a female prisoner.
I mean, anyone who commits a serious crime, who's a male, who looks at this and goes, well, I'll just tell him I'm a woman.
Correct. And the governments have facilitated that provision to be able to do it. Instead of saying, well, too bad, sunshine, you're not going to go there, you're going to be in a men's prison, we'll have you isolated. They do with a lot of other significant organised crime figures, they isolate them. Well, we'll isolate you in a men's prison. It's your call, but we're not going to put you and facilitate where you've got open slather to attack women.
And I presume in a women's jail, I don't know, but would there be common showering areas and stuff
Oh, very
like
much
that?
so, yeah, apart from the little cabins that they might have in different prisons. So I'm assuming there's communal eating, communal toilets, communal showers and the likes. But how do you police
Do we know
that?
how many men who are now identifying women are in these women's jails?
I think there was about 20. Now, for example, Denya, the serial killer Denya, he recognises a woman. And he wouldn't want a person like him going into women's prison. Then he changed it, going to parole. So it's an absolute nonsense that this government bows down to these minority groups and not having the accountability and say, well, OK, why then, how did you make this decision? Based on what? Even though you were told. You were told by these other groups, we do not want it, and you're poor. And a lot of these women are involved with family violence, and they put this man, and that's who he is. He's a man who's gone in there, regardless whether he's had the operation, I don't know. But it's not good enough, and this is their representatives letting us down once again. What else is left for this government to stuff up?
And they won't tell us what the compensation is. They want to keep it a secret. And they wouldn't have told us anything about this unless the Herald Sun had found out about it.
Hush money. So hush money because we don't want... And that was in 2022. Here we are learning about it in 26. Where's your accountability, even to the media and to the public at large, to let us know what our great leaders are doing? It's insulting.
Gangland survivor Tommy Mokbel, he is a free man today. I mean, I know you know this case well. Victorian prosecutors told the Supreme Court that they will not put Mokbel on charge over a major drug crime dubbed Orbital. Charlie, look, I saw him on the steps of the courthouse today. I wanted to throw up. This is Mokbel, who was... How big a drug dealer was Mokbel?
Significant. Multi-millionaire through drugs, organised crime, trafficking, and he was a very, very significant target for Victoria Police.
Now, we understand why this has all happened. It's complicated through the Lawyer X issue, and she was representing him and she was also informing on him to the police. So we understand all of that. So he's got a lot of these charges dropped. However, he served 19 years in jail.
Yep.
I presume the DPP said, well, we don't want to go ahead with the case because time served does probably mean it's a waste of time. You're not going to get any more time.
Yep.
He appears on the courthouse steps today, and the journalists all start laughing with him about where he's going to go overseas travelling. And they asked him, do you have any regrets? He said, I've got no regrets at all.
No regrets at all.
He was asked about the drug dealing. Do you regret that? I've got no regrets.
Yeah, well, that just shows where's the remorse in that regard. Here we are at the bottom of the chain. All the drug overdoses we're trying to save. We've got these safe injecting rooms, which we keep battling against and saying, well, that's what it's about. And it carries, his charges carry life imprisonment. Why aren't these people getting life imprisonment for the mayhem and death and...
well, he was in the middle of the underworld shooting wars.
Yeah, very much so.
You know, Williams and all of that.
Yeah, connected quite heavily, going and living the high life and caught.
OK, 19 years in jail. I mean, that's a long time in jail. But he looked like, you know, he's now going to walk out. He's free. He's never going back to jail again unless he breaks the law again.
Correct.
He could have money hidden away. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, it was pathetic.
Yeah, well, they seized multi-million dollars off him. That just shows the height of the level he was at. And he actually pleaded guilty to one of these charges. And admitted it. And then all of a sudden, oh no, well, Lawyer X was involved. And again, it's all about the welfare and the concerns and the rights of the crook. What about the community at large and the victims that he's created?
This government is not governing for the people of Victoria in the way that the people of Victoria feel that criminals should be treated.
Correct. They should be shown the exit door sooner than later.
Charlie, thanks for coming in as usual. Charlie Bezzina there.